Over the next 31 days, I'll be competing against some serious Sudoku solvers in an online competition for the top spot, with one goal: to win it all. The thing is, I've never done a Sudoku competition before. I've always had an appreciation for Sudoku, but I've never tested myself. I wanted to know if I actually tried, how far could I go? The first one I solved seemed a little tricky, a little time consuming, only to be considered an easy puzzle to my surprise. So naturally, next I went for the hardest difficulty: insane. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it. Again, to my surprise, I absolutely crushed it in almost record time. This secured me 650 points, which is the maximum you can get from one solve. You might be wondering what website this is. It's run by a company called Puzzle Baron, who hosts multiple puzzle-based websites, some of which have been holding monthly competitions for years. This Sudoku one debuted in September 2012, and the leaderboard is based on accumulated points across the whole month. The amount of points you get is based on the difficulty of the puzzles you solve and how quickly you solve them. At this point, my confidence is through the roof. I feel unstoppable. But this rush of confidence ends quickly. Throughout the rest of the day, I get destroyed puzzle after puzzle, sometimes even failing to solve the easy ones. I'm so used to apps that automatically remove pencil markings when numbers are filled that I lose track of them easily and make mistakes. I did get one last good solve at the end of the night, finishing me in 10th place with a 61% win rate. It feels like a failure of a day, honestly. But they say failure is one of the greatest teachers. I wasn't trying to learn anything, I just wanted to win. But failure had other plans. I tried focusing on just easy puzzles to get used to the website, but it just didn't feel worth it at all with how many points I was getting. I solved so many puzzles in record time only to get just over 300 points. Eventually, I switched to only doing insane puzzles because you don't even have to do that well to get a perfect score. Sometimes I finish with a below average time and I still get full points. I found myself frequently making mistakes though, which was solved with time as I became more observant. Puzzle Baron offers no help when you're competing in the competition, but I'm slowly getting used to it. On day 4, I developed a pretty solid strategy. First, I fill in the easy numbers and then all of the pencil markings. Then I can look for patterns in the pencil markings, and this can get me a little farther or completely through the puzzle. When I get stuck though, I'll look for a square that only has 2 possibilities that could get me pretty far if I knew what it was. Then I'll guess one of the numbers and immediately check for errors. If there are no errors, cool. If there is one, I get a 60-second penalty and I still know what the correct number is. The penalty usually isn't enough to push me from getting a perfect score, and if I guess correctly, I just get a really fast time. I don't want to keep with the guessing strategy, of course, because I want to be able to solve them using only logic, but for the time being, this is a viable strategy, I think. You may call it cheating, but I call it using my resources. I floated around 10th place a lot, but I moved my way up to 7th at my highest. So these people definitely got cronked. To begin the second week, I opened up Puzzle Baron to see that I fell all the way down 12th. This means war. I locked in on the insane puzzles, getting new records with an absolutely blazing one in 393 seconds. I didn't even have to guess. On day 6, I shot up to 6th place. In that one session, I increased my average score from 408 to 472, gaining over 10,000 points after 16 puzzles. Little did I know, this session would be absolutely puny compared to what I was doing later in the month. Then, I noticed something about the leaderboard. There's a lot of us very close in points from 5th to 10th place. Then there's this guy in 4th, but the top 3 are completely clear from everyone else. 3rd place has almost triple the score that 4th place has. So if I could just get a few good sessions in, I could completely run away from these guys and push for the top 3. It was clear that I wasn't going to win anymore, so the podium was my new goal. On day 8, I logged on to find that there was a big push from 4 of us, and I was stuck in the back at 7th place. But 32 puzzles and 20,000 points later, I just squeezed into 4th place, my highest placement yet. 5th place is only a few hundred points behind, but just getting up there was worth it. This glory, however, it came at a price. I felt guilty. Something didn't feel right about the way I was exploiting the check grid button. My score doesn't feel like a true representation of my skill as a Sudoku solver. Am I cheating? But what if everyone else is doing it too? I don't want to put myself at a disadvantage, but it's equally likely that I'm the only one using this exploit. I'm trying to improve, yet I still get stuck. I've learned so many techniques. X-wings, XY wings, Fist of Mephel's ring, swordfishes, empty rectangles, I try them all. The added time pressure just makes it more stressful, so I resort to guessing. I pondered this for a bit, and I kept doing it. It's not that deep really. Then I got a haircut, which has nothing to do with Sudoku. I also kind of fell off because I wasn't able to play much for a few days, and I ended up back in 7th. I started this journey thinking I could win it all, but Now I'm not sure if I can even compete. Was this all for nothing? Maybe. But something told me to keep going. Tomorrow is the day of the Kronk. Yeah, I tried to hype myself up for this epic scene, but it was kinda underwhelming actually. I still gathered more than 26,000 points after 41 puzzles. I had a battle with Kaga 2100 at the end of the night, just barely staying ahead until I went to bed. I was sure that they would pass me to put me in Stairs again, but upon awakening, I was still ahead. I neared on 4th a little bit, but I'm still a ways away. I'm still confident that the 3rd place finish is possible though. I mean, this guy hasn't even played in 4 days. Today is day 15. And I am completely stuck in 5th place right now. This guy right at home, he just keeps scooting away from me. Like I'm 20,000 points behind. Like this morning, it was probably like 10,000. It's already 20,000 point gap. But also, there's still this guy in 3rd. Hopefully, like we can catch up to him, like me and 4th place, we can catch up. If I can get a top 3, I think that'll be really good. That'll be really good for my first try. Because these guys just like literally have no life. Like, what are you doing, man? You're solving 560 puzzles in 15 days. That is almost 6 hours a day. I could keep yapping, but you're probably still wondering, what the HE double hockey sticks is an X-Wing? Well, let me tell you. An X-Wing is a very simple pattern. These 4 5s create an X pattern, meaning either these 2 are 5s or these 2 are. So we can deduce that these can never be 5s. An XY wing involves a trio of numbers, like the 2-3 pair, 3-5 pair, and 2-5 pair you see here. Again, there are 2 situations, and one of these has to be a 5, so that means these 2 squares can never be 5s. Fist of Mephel's ring is a property of a Sudoku grid, which states that the highlighted sections shown will always contain the same numbers as each other. For example, in this grid there are 2 1s, 3 2s, 1 3, 2 4s, and so on. This is true for any Sudoku puzzle, and it can sometimes be helpful while solving. A swordfish is kinda similar to an X-Wing. Looking at these 7s, they form an L-shaped block with 3 possible situations. In any case, one of these 3 is a 7, so this can't be. The empty rectangle is very hard to explain, but very useful. Looking at the 3s, box 1 contains 3s in only the middle row and left column, forming a T. If we look at this column, there are 2 scenarios. No matter which of these is a 3, this one can never be a 3. This allows us to solve the rest of the puzzle. Those are probably horrible explanations, so if you actually want to learn how to spot these and use them in solves, this is not the place. On day 16, I'm still in 5th. On day 17, this guy tried to run away and he was successful because I'm still in 5th. Day 18, still in 5th. I cannot catch up. Every time I get a little close, they just slip away again. I don't know what more I can do. I've more than doubled my score this week and I haven't made any ground. I just can't catch up. I started losing faith again. All of this hard work for nothing. Can I really settle for 5th place? I know I'm not gonna win, but I still have to try my best. Deep down, I knew this wasn't just about Sudoku. It was about proving to myself that I could commit to something, even if it meant failing. So I put my head down and I kept chugging. I'm the only one playing right now. This is my chance. As I sit less than 20,000 points away, today is my chance. This is the day that I will catch up. I solve puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, 10,000 points away, 8,000 points, 6,000, 4,000. But then I had to stop. I stayed up so late just for my chance to catch up, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't sacrifice my health too much just for this challenge. I was so close to the service and I just got pushed back underwater. I missed my chance. To my surprise though, I woke up the next day to find that they hadn't played at all. They logged on and saw the gap and chose not to play, taunting me almost, like they wanted me to overtake them. So I did. It felt liberating in a weird way. All I did was go from 5th place to 4th, but it was so much more profound. After days of being stuck, I was able to pull through, and for a moment, I was at peace. But it's not over yet. People weren't playing much at this point in the month, and I tried to leverage this to my advantage. I played as much as I could with the little time I had, and I built a decent gap. These days were wasted, however, as I got passed in one day, and oh my god, it got so much worse. 25,000 points? I would not stand for this. And with 5 days left in the month, it was time for one last push. No. Enough with the montages. At this point, I was so sick of Sudoku. The last thing I wanted to do was spend hours on Puzzle Baron, slaving away, staring at numbers and tiles. I stared at that gap in the leaderboard like an unscalable cliff. But after everything, I couldn't walk away just yet. I still had to give it my all. And with 5 more days, that was all I could do. On day 27, I played pretty much all day, gained almost 30,000 points, and made absolutely no ground on 4th place. The guy that was in 4th actually passed into 3rd, so good for them, I guess. But I was still stuck 25,000 points away. On day 28, I reached 300,000 points. Yay. And I slowly inched closer and closer to 4th, unsure if I'd make it in the end. But after a long day, I was able to do it. And that's where I called it a night. Despite being literally only 5 points ahead, my brain was absolutely fried and I couldn't take any more Sudoku. Now that I was caught up though, I was confident that I could maybe keep up and squeeze in the 3rd. Days 29 and 30, I couldn't play much, so I fell slightly behind, but I geared up for a big day with the podium still in reach. I am so burnt out, but this truly is my last chance. This month has been a journey. There were days when I pushed myself to my limit, days when I folded, days when I felt like there was no hope. But I never gave up. It was a constant learning process. I learned so many new things about Sudoku. I played it like my life depended on it. Any time that I didn't spend solving Sudoku felt like time wasted. I lived and breathed Sudoku. I would wake up and have a bowl of Sudoku for breakfast. I close my eyes and I see Sudoku. I dream Sudoku. I am Sudoku. And still, it wasn't enough. I sit before you today as the 4th place finisher of the July 2025 Puzzle Baron Sudoku competition. Immediately, I felt like a failure. My original goal was to win. Once that dream quickly crumbled, I set my eyes on the top 3. Even when it felt impossible, I kept pushing, holding onto the thread of hope that if I just kept going, I could make it happen. I gained ground slowly but steadily, and I ended up beating the player that had the 3rd place spot for so long. But it wasn't enough. I simply didn't work hard enough. But if there's anything I know about failure, it's that you can't dwell on it. There are many successes hidden behind every failure. I came out of this challenge a much better Sudoku solver than I've ever been before. In the beginning I had to guess frequently, and in the last week I was barely guessing, if at all. Puzzles that once would have been impossible were solved within a matter of minutes. And in the midst of hopeless feelings, I gave it my all. It wasn't enough, but it was everything I had. I still did very well for a first timer. There were 100 people that competed this month, and I was the 4th best out of all of them. And while I do not plan on playing this much Sudoku in a month ever again, just remember, failure is no match for someone who is always willing to pick themselves back up. I didn't win, but I changed, and that's what made it all worth it.